So we have seen this kind of an image of the cosmic drama in which we have two movements. One is the movement from the undifferentiated cosmic source into the world of matter, the holotropic movement. And then we have the movement from the world of matter back to the source, the holotropic movement, the ways to ReUnion. Now, in many religions, there's the idea that this is a low level, this is the garbage level, this is the valley of tears. It's somehow, fundamentally polluted. It's the quagmire of death and rebirth, and we want to get into some other better realm. You find it in Christianity, certainly very negative attitude towards nature and sort of a lot of aspiration for the transcendental. You find it in the initial Hinayana Buddhism, where the idea was, as long as you are entangled in the world, it's suffering. You want to move into nirvana. Nirvana is related to vata, which means wind. So it's the extinction of the torches of life. It's evanescence and so on. Now, those people who have the experience of getting back to the source of samadhi, they find there's a problem because it is not just the goal of the spiritual journey, but it's also a source of creation. So if that experience would be self-fulfilling, the idea is that creation would have never happened. The divine would not have sought the creation. It would just exist in that undifferentiated state. So in this kind of insight, the creation of the phenomenal world becomes a necessary complement. So that when you are in the undifferentiated state, the movement is toward creation. If you end up here as a separate being, you are dealing with the problems of death, impermanence, aging, and so on. And so there is tremendous need again to go back to the undifferentiated unity. So there is no really solution on either side. We have two in creation. We have two movements that go against each other. So the question now is the $66,000 question is what is an intelligent adaptation to this situation where there is no fulfillment on either side. So the people whom I have seen who found some satisfactory solution, they basically embrace this level. You have to accept that this level is a valid level. It's equally divine. It has something significant to offer. This is the only level where we can fall in love, where we can have children, where we can go scuba diving, skiing, where we can eat bouillabaisse, listen to Beethoven's music, fall in love, and so on. But if we are experiencing it from a perspective when we think about ourselves as just material beings, as body egos, it's fraught with tremendous problems of the impermanence, aging, death, and also what Ken Wilber talked about as the Atman project, that we're trying to actually realize our divine identity through the limitations of the material world. But it's impossible because we would have to be it all and have it all to come close to our true identity. The only realization can come through inner experience of one's own divinity. So the recipe then seems to be to complement what we do in everyday life by some systematic self-exploration. This is what Jung also suggested, that whatever we do in the world should be complemented by some intense self-exploration in which we draw on the wisdom of the self, what he called self with capital S. We draw on the wisdom from the collective unconscious. And we live our life in such a way that it's a synthesis of what we know from our everyday life, but what we also discover in these holotropic states. And we live our life as a synthesis. So this makes it possible then to experience fully whatever this life brings experience what Zorba the Greek called the whole catastrophe. But when things get really heavy, we have this large meta framework which we have created in this inner self-exploration, when our own identity is radically redefined, when we know experientially on a cellular level our own divinity, and we can sort of resort to it when things get very, very difficult.